what the problem is. There we go. I think we got sound. Do we have sound now? There we go. Brian, can you hear me now? Well, that kind of sucked. I don't know what happened. It defaulted back to a microphone that actually doesn't even exist on my system here. I don't know why it did that. Okay. Can you guys hear? Okay, there we go. All right. As I was saying, let's stop, reset, take two. All right. I guess we won't use this one as the WrestleScope podcast for the week on the podcast channel. All right. First of all, let me go back here real quick. Brian, thank you for jumping in with that comment real quick. All right. Welcome to the show. Please give this video a like. Please forgive me on the 2 minutes of dead air. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be updated every time something brand new comes up here on WrestleScope. And don't forget, I will put this back up. Don't forget to follow us on all of our other social medias on TikTok, on Twitter, and Instagram. Okay. Now that we have the technical difficulties out of the way, and I'm hoping the right microphone is working, that it's not my camera, that it's actually my microphone here that's working, I'll be able to tell in post-production. I need to apologize because a little over a month ago, I had kind of declared on here, hey, I'm going to be doing this whole big thing. I'm going to be doing this, the 365 days of WrestleScope. And I'm going to be putting out content on YouTube every single day for 365 days. Well, that has not been the case. Okay. First of all, family vacation. I opted not to do anything during that week, which was a wise decision on my part. But since coming back from family vacation 2 weeks ago, I've been kind of hit and miss. And quite honestly, I haven't really been in the right mindset for things. I think a lot of it has to do with, one, I've been very beaten down, like many of you have been, by WWE programming. And I don't want to just sit here and talk about negative things all the time. I just haven't felt inspired to talk about stuff, quite honestly. Now, AEW has been fantastic. Last week's show, the first one in front of fans, and big fans in an arena, was great, with the exception of that, that big fat slug that tried getting into the ring. And I don't know if any of you noticed this. I'm going to bring this up real quick. Let me see if I could find actually the tweets. I don't always agree with Jim Cornette. Actually, I stopped following Jimmy Cornette a while back. Let me see if I can find it. He went off a couple of days ago on the guy that actually tried jumping in the ring during the MJF Chris Jericho segment. And I am desperately trying to find this. And now, of course, I can't find it. Oh, wait. Wait, I think I found it. All right. Let me see if I can. I am going to apologize ahead of time for the language that is in this tweet. Okay. I do not condone this kind of language, but I think for the purpose of showing this, it needs to be done. Okay. So this is from Jim Cornette. And let's see. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull this up. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay. Screen 3. There we go. All right. Got news for you, blank. The ring is sacred ground for us. And even if you and lots of others think you could kick the beep out of the Young Bucks, I would have turned into a tennis racket popsicle, and you're lucky someone there didn't gut you like a fish, and you're blocked. So this guy, right? Let's see if I can't really see it. Fat bastard. How did you like my AEW debut? I did this for all of us real wrestling fans. Wrestling is no longer a safe space for friends to dance around and play dress up. Reality can hit at any time. Did they think it is going to be a bleeping playtime forever? All right. I don't know this fool's real name. Okay. Yeah, whatever. I don't know that guy's real name, but let me tell you something right now. Real wrestling fans, do not try getting into the ring. Okay? As Jim Cornette said, the ring is sacred ground. If you are not a trained wrestler, a referee, a manager, an official, somebody that is properly trained and is hired by said company, you have absolutely no right, no reason to be in a ring. And the fact that Jericho and MJF did not beat the living crap out of this guy is absolutely amazing. It is like when fans will run onto a baseball field or a basketball court or football field. I actually love it when they try running onto football fields and the football players, hey, that is their domain. If you are not part of that group, you do not belong there. And this idiot, whoever he is, thinks that it's okay for him to jump the gate, jump the railing, and go into the ring. We have seen situations in the past where professional wrestlers, there was one, I believe it was Eddie Guerrero, that Eddie Guerrero could have been seriously injured. I believe he was on top of a ladder and a fan came into the ring and tried knocking him off the ladder, actually got him to come loose from the ladder. And fortunately, he didn't end up getting injured. Uh-oh. Oh, good grief. Yeah, my son harassing me about a message I sent him 7 years ago. Okay. Anyways, fans do not belong in the ring. You step into their territory, you step into their area, and they have every right in the world to beat the crap out of you. All right? The fact that Jericho kind of whiffed on the punch, it's because security was right there. But this is with the exception of WrestleMania, this is the first big show with fans, wrestling show with fans that we ever had in 18 months, and this clown does this. I sincerely hope that he was arrested, but obviously, let's see, July 9th, so this would have been, actually, this was 2 days ago. This was on Friday that he tweeted this. So if he was arrested, he obviously got out right away. I hope AEW has gotten this guy's picture and has permanently banned him and will send it across to every arena that they go to that this person is not allowed in the building. That if AEW staff sees him, he will be immediately kicked out with no refund, anything else. There is absolutely no place for this. And again, I don't always agree with the takes that Jim Cornette has, but minus the language, I agree with him 100% on this. Jericho, MJF, anybody else there had every right in the world to beat the living snot out of this guy. Okay, I'm not going to address that one right now. I didn't want to start on this note. Actually, I'm really going to start on two negative things here, and I really don't want to, but I think it needs to be done. There's a comment. For those of you in the comments, you can see it. I'm not actually going to put the comment up on screen here, but there have been some things on Twitter and on the internet about Naomi, who is the real life wife of Jimmy Uso, and have been very negative towards her concerning the situation with Jimmy. If you're not aware, I'm going to put it out there for you. Jimmy Uso was arrested. I believe it was last week, Monday. He was arrested for DUI. Actually, he got pulled over for running a stoplight and doing 50 in a 35 zone. And he failed the field sobriety test, was detained and arrested for DUI. his second DUI, actually I believe it was his third. It was his third over the course of 10 years, second one in 2. And there have been those idiots out there that have been going off and saying it's Naomi's fault that he went off and did this. Jimmy Uso is a grown, okay, pardon the language right now. Jimmy Uso is a grown-ass man. He is responsible for his own actions. If you're going to be that much of a crap for brains idiot and say that his wife, a WWE superstar herself, is the reason for him going off and getting drunk and getting a DUI, you should be sent off to an island of stupidity off by yourself. Okay? Imagine the effect that this is having on her right now. Her husband, again, obviously having some sort of issues, gets arrested for a DUI again and potentially could lose his job. And yet some of you morons out there are going to say, well, it's her fault. No. The only one to blame for what happened to Jimmy Uso is Jimmy Uso. He was the one that decided to drink. He was the one that decided to take the keys and get in his car and drive. And thank God that he was pulled over for only speeding and going through a stop sign or stop light. Thank God he didn't hit another car. Thank God he didn't hurt anybody. Thank God he didn't get into an accident himself and hurt himself. Thank God Naomi was not in the car with him. I don't believe she was, and didn't get hurt with him. But you fools that are going to sit there and talk negatively about Naomi and blame her for this. She is now deleted, as of the last that I know of, she deleted her Twitter because of the hatred she was getting. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not just talking about wrestling fans. I'm talking about people in general. Now, I've loved social media for over 10 years. You know, I was an early adopter of Twitter back in 2009. You know, I've been on every social media platform you can think of. But these last couple of years had made me to the point that I'm just sick of it. I am really sick of it. Because every keyboard warrior, every person that thinks they can type things, thinks that they could go out there and just talk as much crap as they want to. And I'm sick and tired of it. Now, I've taken heat from people that, you know, when I've called this kind of thing out, well, you're sitting here on YouTube and you're calling people out and blah, blah, blah. It's my personal opinion. As a content creator, it's my personal opinion. But very rarely do I take personal shots at people. Now, yes, I took a personal shot at the idiot who doesn't even use his real name online. The idiot that jumped in the ring and tried attacking Chris Jericho and MJF. Okay? Yes, I called out Jimmy Uso for what he has done because he has made a mistake multiple occasions and needs to get help. But it's the idiots that hide behind fake names and fake pictures online. Anybody that knows me, yes, WrestleScope is an entity. It's not really a business name, but it's the name of this channel. And my profile picture, what is my profile picture? It's some belts. But if you know me personally, all of my personal social media accounts are my name and my picture. I own up to everything that I post on social media. And if you don't like it, hey, guess what? You can call me out on it. You can block me like many people have done. I've had channels block me as well. okay, because of things I've said or things that have been insinuated that I've said, even though I swore I wasn't going to bring it up again. But I own it, okay? I don't hide behind fake usernames and things that I think are funny. And I'm sure, like, this guy, there's no way that's it. Well, maybe that is his real picture. Oh, good grief. He's actually even got, I don't even want to click on his YouTube channel. Whatever. All right. I digress. Enough of the negativity. John's heart rate just went up and my blood pressure went through the roof. Need to drink my Dr. Pepper. All right, let's reset and talk wrestling. And this is a week with highs and lows when it came to debuts. Obviously, the big one, the one where I screamed, almost fell out of my chair, but was super excited, was Wednesday night. And now I missed the beginning part of Dynamite. And I didn't see the blackouts that they had earlier on because I missed the beginning of the show. But when they had Arn Anderson in the ring and all of a sudden the lights went out, and when the lights came back on after a long time, it was longer than I kind of expected, but it played out well. When Tommy End, the former Aleister Black, now known as Malachi Black, was in the ring, that was one of the biggest pops that I've ever had as a wrestling fan. I knew he was going to show up in AEW at some point in time. I didn't think it was going to be this soon because I thought he was still under a 90-day no-compete. He was the one guy that for weeks, different people, Fightful Select and PW Insider and other people have said there are talent that have been released, certain ones that only have 30-day non-competes, but they weren't able to confirm who they were. Well, doggone it, we confirmed the big one on Wednesday night with Malachi Black. That was huge. Didn't have to say anything. He stood out there. He had that dark look. I guess I never did see the video he released. I think it was earlier in the day where he was basically playing up his character. He knocked Double A's head off. Then he knocked Cody Rhodes' head off. And I love the fact that immediately Malachi Black is gunning for Cody Rhodes. That is a way to make a debut. The other kind of debut we had that night was the in-ring wrestling debut in AEW of Andrade El Idolo against Matt Sydal. Now, no offense to Matt Sydal. He is a great wrestler, a great athlete. But when you've got somebody the talent of Andrade El Idolo, is that the debut match you give him? Is that what you do? You have him come out with Vicky Guerrero to an introduction that was just awful. You have him come out a second time. The only thing that's really been good leading up to this was the interview he did with Jim Ross. And that's because JR is just the penultimate professional. He is great at what he does. AEW, it feels like they don't know what they're doing with Andrade. You have got an upper level superstar in him, and you have him come out with two really just kind of stupid introductions and then a match with Matt Sydal. When you have Malachi Black come in and basically say, hey, I'm here to take on one of the top guns in AEW, and I don't care who you are. How they can do this, I don't know. I don't know, Brian, but I'm sure somebody will. Somebody is going to lose a job over this. We will hear about it probably this coming week. And then on SmackDown last night, and I'm going to combine topics here. We obviously all heard late Thursday about the terrible injury to Bayley. Just absolutely terrible. Multiple reports of a torn ACL in a training session at the WWE Performance Center as they're getting ready to hit the road. It was just a freak accident. It really was just a freak accident. And Bayley will be out for a minimum of 9 months, which puts an appearance next year at WrestleMania in doubt for her, which is what's heartbreaking about that is she didn't wrestle at WrestleMania this year. They could have utilized her, and all they had her do was get beat up by the Bella Twins. So you're looking at 2 years in a row of not having one of the best female wrestlers you have in the company not appear at the biggest show of the year. And I know they had some things planned for her, and they had a scramble to figure things out quickly. And this shows where I talked about this last week, where WWE is having a lot of problems with their women's division. Well, they immediately call up Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart as a tag team. Okay. Shotzi doesn't surprise me in a way because she was one of the NXT talents that had dark matches over the last couple of weeks. Tegan Nox, this one makes no sense to me because she just came back at the Great American Bash. She just came back and teased a feud with Candice LeRae. And now she's in a tag team with Shotzi Blackheart. And if you noticed, WWE did it again. It is now Nox and Shotzi. For whatever reason, WWE has this thing about people having two names. Riddle, Andrade. How many other ones have, Murphy. Though actually, Buddy Murphy actually came out this week. I believe he said that it was his idea actually to drop the Buddy since he was going into a really more of a heel character. So it was kind of his decision, but WWE has been doing this a lot lately. Knox. Okay, we've had Mike Knox in the past. Wasn't there a Nux? I think there was a Nux in WWE back in the early 1990s. Shotzi Blackheart, that one is coming down to it's going to end up being a trademark thing where she'll be able to keep Shotzi Blackheart for outside of WWE if she ever leaves, but WWE will try to trademark just Shotzi, and they may change it from SHOTZI to SHOTZY. Don't be surprised if they do that. And with Tegan Nox, it could end up being NOXX. They're going to do something stupid. And then they teased the arrival of Toni Storm, which bringing Toni Storm up makes a lot of sense, but I don't think they needed to do the Toni Storm is coming soon. Toni Storm coming soon. How about you just have her debut? She should have been the one that got the title shot against Bianca Belair. Now, some of you may say, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Well, does Carmella? Somebody in the comments here mentioned it. What has Carmella done? She hasn't really done much of anything lately, and she now gets the title shot on SmackDown next week instead of at Money in the Bank. Why don't you have Toni Storm debut, and she's the one that gets a shot at Bianca Belair, have her have a really good match, a couple of close pinfall opportunities, but Bianca wins in the end. Maybe you do that one on SmackDown instead of Carmella again. And then, Carmella gets announced as that, and Liv Morgan comes down to the ring and goes into a tizzy about, why is she getting the shot? I've beaten her twice. And then Sonya Deville belittling her and, basically doing her best Stephanie McMahon and saying, hey, if you'd shut up, if you'd let me finish what I'm saying, I was going to tell you, you're taking her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So basically walking in backwards into the Money in the Bank. After everything she'd done, she didn't qualify, which on SmackDown, none of the women qualified. They were all just handpicked to go in. Why? And we still have 2 spots left for SmackDown women in the Money in the Bank that obviously it's going to get decided next week, Friday, on the live SmackDown. Gee, how much you want to bet it's going to be a tag team match, and how much you want to bet it's going to end up being Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, which in a way I'm okay with, but that immediately makes it, all right, it's probably going to end up being somebody from Raw winning it. Because you look at SmackDown, it would be, whoever ends up winning, I'm going to say Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. Liv Morgan, I don't even know who the other one is on SmackDown. Personally, I don't care about the women's Money in the Bank match. I could really care less about that one right now. Yeah, unless Alexa Bliss wins. Quite honestly, unless Alexa wins, I don't care. Because the rest of it is going to suck. I got this bad feeling that, okay, Carmella is going to lose on Friday night, and she's going to find some way to weasel herself back into the Money in the Bank ladder match 2 days later, and she's going to be a 3-time winner. I've just got this really bad feeling. Yep, Zipcoon, I agree with you, Sasha. I think they're going to have to fast track. They are going to have to fast track Sasha coming back. Now, I believe she is working on some sort of project in Hollywood right now, and that's why she hasn't been around. I think they were shooting for her to be back at SummerSlam, but they may need to get her back sooner with Bayley gone. Because the women's division right now on both sides is in a lot of trouble. All right, let's pivot here and pivot over. You know what? I got to take a look at what all the content I said I was going to talk about tonight was. Let's see. Yes, we need I don't remember what I did with where is Keith Lee banner, but where are the WWE Tag Team Champions on Raw and SmackDown? Who even has the belts on Raw? Who are the Raw Tag Team Champions right now? Oh, it's AJ and Omos. That's right. AJ and Omos. Ah, yes. Zipcoon's right. Zelina Vega. Where was Zelina Vega last night or on Friday night? She was gone. She was gone. Nowhere to be found. Okay. Comes back. Wins a 2-minute match. No, lost a 2-minute match. Still gets into the Money in the Bank. And then she's not seen on TV, which, holy cow, boy, is she going to end up getting buried now that Tommy End is in AEW? I just don't have a good feeling about this for Zelina Vega. I really don't. I get the feeling she is just going to get obliterated in WWE now. Okay, so the WWE Tag Team Championships. On Raw, we have AJ Styles and Omos, which, okay, yes, there actually is a match in a week's time for the tag team titles. The night I believe it is the night after Money in the Bank, where they'll be defending against the Viking Raiders. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Mysterios. When's the last time they defended the titles? The tag team titles really have become a forgotten entity in WWE. And it's been well known, it's been mentioned numerous times by different people that Vince McMahon just is not a huge fan of tag team wrestling. He's not a fan of the tag team divisions. If that's the case, much like the women's tag team championships, merge the two, unify the two, and just have one set of WWE Tag Team Championships that go back and forth on both shows, and hopefully you do better than you've done with the Women's Tag Team Championships. And you could ask the same thing with the Women's Championships. What is going on with it right now? Obviously, it's kind of difficult with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships because what teams do you have? You have Natty and Tamina. You have Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. You now have Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart. Do we have Shayna and Nia together anymore? I don't think so. What else? Who do we have? Anybody else? We don't have the Riot Squad anymore. Nikki Ash, is she aligned back with Alexa Bliss again now? Maybe it's time for tag team championships in WWE to go away for a little while and then bring them back again. I don't know. It's just a hot mess right now. It really is. And it's a shame, but they don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's going to change. Hopefully it doesn't mean more call-ups from NXT because they're already struggling on the main roster to book halfway decent shows with the talent they have. I mean, look what they're doing to poor Baron Corbin. Now, I am not a Baron Corbin apologist. I believe he is a talented wrestler, very talented wrestler, but he has been saddled with some absolutely horrendous gimmicks and feuds for the last 3 years. And now they've got it where he lost his king moniker, and he's basically destitute and down on his luck. He lost a whole bunch of money in some investments as well, and he had his car repossessed. He's going to have his house foreclosed on. Keep in mind, foreclosures are banned right now by the federal government. They can't foreclose on you right now. The federal government is not allowing that. So there's a flaw in the theory there in the story writing. Gee, WWE having a flaw in their story writing. Can you imagine? The only thing I like about what's going on with this is changing the way people look at Baron Corbin. But he is basically being bullied by baby faces. Look at what happened on Friday night. You've got Rick Boogs, who is really beginning to annoy me now, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Kevin Owens, and Big E. No, Kevin Owens didn't. Big E, and Pat McAfee, all making fun of Baron Corbin. They're bullying him. And he's supposed to be the bad guy. Tell me how that works. All right, let's switch gears here again. I'm just all full of negativity tonight. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm really having a hard time to be positive about wrestling. Let's switch to AEW. And boy, I took some crap from somebody on this one the other day. And I don't know if I'm going to consider this a hot take, but I'm going to die on this hill if I have to. Hangman Adam Page. Is it time for him to challenge Kenny Omega? And is it time for Kenny Omega to lose the AEW championship to Hangman Adam Page? I say no. Maybe not for the challenge part. Have him challenge at All Out. It's not time for Kenny to lose the title quite yet. When you look at who the top two champions in competing companies are, you have Kenny Omega and you have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has completely reinvented himself and is, without a doubt, the top heel in the world of professional wrestling right now. Without a doubt. Kenny Omega, I wouldn't even say is number two, quite honestly. I'm not the biggest Kenny Omega fan, but I don't think the time is quite yet for him to drop that belt. It's really a matter of, between Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega, who will lose their championship first. I believe what needs to happen, if they are going to pull the trigger on Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega at All Out, Kenny has to win, but he's got to cheat to win. He's got to utilize the Good Brothers. He's got to utilize the Young Bucks. He's got to utilize Don Callis. Or maybe somebody else coming into the fold and cost Hangman Adam Page. And it won't be a Hangman goes back to drinking and sulks and everything else. Hangman is going to get pissed off. He is going to get angry. And he is going to find any way and every way to battle his way back and figure out a way to challenge for that title. What would have been great, but they've already put the storyline with MJF now, where MJF is having Chris Jericho battle through everybody else in the Pinnacle to get to him. I would have liked to have seen them do that with Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and the Elite, where he's got to take out Brandon Cutler. And then one-on-one against each of the Good Brothers. And then a handicap match against the Young Bucks before he could get to Kenny Omega. But they've already taken that storyline and put it with MJF. I don't believe the time is now for Hangman Adam Page to be the AEW World Champion. I don't think they should pull the trigger. Yes, the crowd pop in Chicago for that to happen would be huge. But imagine the way the Chicago crowd would dump on Kenny Omega if he screws Hangman Adam Page out of that title. Hangman Adam Page will immediately become the hottest babyface in professional wrestling if that happens. And Kenny Omega will then become the top heel in the world of wrestling if that happens. I personally believe it's not time to make it happen. WWE would well, you'd think they would pull the trigger on it, but they didn't put the title on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania in front of fans, which I still think was the right decision, that keeping it on Bobby Lashley. I really think that was the right decision. Okay. You know, I typically go for an hour on these shows. I'm just not feeling it tonight because, quite honestly, I've been filled with a lot of negativity tonight, and I'm sorry. Usually I'm a little bit more positive about things, but I this has been more of a vent session for John than anything else. Okay. I think I'm actually going to cut this one short because I do want to save some content for later on in this week. I'm still working on some ideas of a couple of other things I want to do. But if you're watching this on replay, please leave your comments on anything I've talked about. How did you feel about the debuts this week in AEW and on SmackDown? Do you think that Bayley's injury is an even more severe blow to the women's division? How do you feel about the WWE Tag Team Championships right now? And do you think the time is now for Hangman Adam Page to beat Kenny Omega? We shall see. I will later on this coming week, I will have my Money in the Bank predictions. Probably going to hold off until Friday to do that because, we have to wait and see who the final two competitors for the women are. Have to see what else ends up happening this coming week. I do want to talk a little bit about NXT this coming week. Did not talk about the Great American Bash, which was a decent show. It was a decent show. I went 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 with my predictions. The only one I got wrong was the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Did not see Io Shirai and Zoe Stark winning those belts. But I was right about everything else. I will pat myself on the back for that one. I deserve that one a little bit. Lots of things to talk about. We'll talk about AEW. We'll talk about so many more things. Is that true? Is that confirmed? Did Chelsea Green go to Ring of Honor? I'm seeing that coming up in the comments. I am not paying attention to Ring of Honor and their big show tonight. Is that true? Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I think it is. Oh, it is. Chelsea Green is in Ring of Honor. I am actually surprised. I thought she was going to go to Impact. I think this is a good move for her with what Maria Kanellis is doing with that women's division. I'm stunned. I really thought she was going to end up going to Impact Wrestling, but that is good for her. She finally gets it. We're going to see. We're going to see what Chelsea Green can really do. She had a less than stellar run in NXT and WWE. A lot of it was because of injuries. We'll see what she's able to do. I think that it's a really good signing for Ring of Honor. Really good signing for them. And I think that's a really good move for her to reestablish herself. And in a, depending on how long her deal with Ring of Honor is, in a year or two's time, maybe she makes a bigger move, to Impact or to AEW, or who knows, maybe Ring of Honor will partner with one of these organizations. That's good for her. I'm happy for Chelsea Green. That is good for her. All right. I am going to jump out of here now, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in again. If you're watching this on replay, please leave your comments. I will be answering over the next couple of days all of your different comments. As always, please give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can be updated on everything that gets posted here on the WrestleScope channel. And don't forget to follow on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Easiest thing to do is click on my bio on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch. You can see my link tree, and you can get linked to everything that I have out there. The Amazon wish list is still up and going. I'm going to add some new things into there. If you'd like to send something into John, I'd greatly appreciate that. You don't have to, but we can have some fun with that. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Hopefully, I'm hoping Raw is going to be good tomorrow night, but it was taped. It was a pre-taped show. They taped it last week. I have not seen any spoilers for Raw this week. I don't have a lot of confidence it's going to be a good show. I think it's going to be dog crap again, but we shall see. They've had a week to edit it, so who knows. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow with some content, but enjoy some wrestling.